poppin' YouTube? Welcome back. We're here with something different. Something I personally have never really gotten into before until you guys recommended it to me. We are checking out a YouTube iceberg. And this iceberg is the Strange and Dark Cartoon Network iceberg. I don't really know much about what's going to go down, but let's freaking do it. Before we get started, you know what to do, baby. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. To feed the algorithm. What? Also, join us over on Twitch. I'm live there. I stream every single day. I do anime reactions. I do YouTube reactions. I play video games. It's so much fun. Come hang out with us live. Be a part of the Rat Queendom. And eat cheese with us. And if you're lactose intolerant, we'll get you lactose-free cheese, okay? We'll make sure we take care of you. Just come on through. All right, let's get it. Here we go, gamers. We're in for a long haul.
Hello, Johnny. It's okay.
I'm Johnny, and it's okay? I don't feel like a Johnny.
We all know the truth. So today we are...
Is that how he starts off each video? Is that how he starts off each video? I feel wildly thrown off by that.
yet again going down the rabbit hole, or I mean, should I just say we're going down the iceberg? You know, it's the same thing as a rabbit hole, but you know, iceberg sounds a bit cooler. And today
yeah, like
we're
the
going to
lettuce.
be looking at one of my favorite channels of all time, Cartoon Network. And this television studio is responsible for some of my favorite shows of all time.
Dexter's
we're talking
Lab.
Courage the Cowardly Dog, Grim Adventures, A Billy and Mandy, Regular Show, Adventure Time, Teen Titans, Chowder, Samurai Jack, Ed, Edd and Eddy. And that's just scratching the surface, baby. And we even got into my favorite part of Cartoon Network, that's Toonami. And it was my introduction into anime, and it had some amazing shows on there. Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, Dragon Ball Z,
I've never
Gundam
seen
Wing,
Yu Yu
and of course,
Hakusho.
you know, everybody knows Naruto. And we haven't even broken the surface on Adult Swim. That is a whole complete different section of shows that I love. Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Moral Oral, China, Illinois, The Boon.
I've seen I've seen like clips of Boondocks. I don't think I've ever actually like watched. I think I've maybe watched one full episode of Boondocks. I should probably watch it at some point. I feel like I can't watch it though. I feel like I can't watch it on my YouTube channel. You feel me? I feel like there's gonna be people. I feel like there's gonna be some white people who are gonna try to quote shit. I'm gonna feel really awkward. I'm gonna get some Uncle Ruckus head ass motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? it's a. I'm gonna be like, what race are you? Can you say that? That's how I'm gonna feel about my entire YouTube comment section. I'm gonna feel way too awkward. Patreon exclusive, maybe? Maybe, actually. I would definitely consider that. Like a Twitch Patreon exclusive. Because I do want to watch it. But, you know, it just takes a few bad eggs for me to be like, you know, I just don't want the racists to feel like, wait, she watched it, and she laughed at the jokes, and she made the same jokes, and she says the N-word. I can say it. If my streamer is black, I am black. Like, stop. Like, shut up. It's scary. I don't want to deal with it.
Boondocks, Metalocalypse, The Adventure Bros, and Family Guy. We all love Family Guy, but what I'm saying is Cartoon Network is the best. It has some of the most creative and unique animated shows. You know, way better than Nickelodeon and Disney has ever done. I could literally make an entire episode on the era of Toonami, or why the hell they canceled Chowder. Why did you cancel Chowder?
What's Chowder?
Why? There's so much I love.
I don't even know what Chowder is.
That's why it's gonna be so much fun digging deep and finding some.
Okay, so I have to be honest, for YouTube, who doesn't know this about me, I wasn't allowed to watch TV as a kid, so a lot of the TV and stuff that I watch is from like now. So, you guys, like, please don't judge me. I just wasn't allowed to watch TV, man. I read a lot of books as a kid. I was allowed to play. Like, how it worked in my house was that if you read for an hour, or if you complete a book, you're allowed to play half an hour of video games. So that's what we chose. And then sometimes like my sister and I would sneak over to the TV in the early hours of the day, and we would watch Kirby Right Back at You and Shaman King. That's it. That's all I've watched as a child. I did not watch SpongeBob growing up. I missed out on so many things and references that I had to like watch things and references when I got older in compilation videos to help catch me up on references. So I am like, so when I like really haven't seen like a lot of animes or a lot of shows, it's because I just did it, man. Like there's nothing I could do. Um, but yeah.
Deep dark secrets behind this channel. And I'm just gonna try to stay in the confines of just Cartoon Network. You know, I'm not gonna go into Adult Swim or Toonami. I kind of feel like they're their own things. So I'm just gonna stick within the realm of
Okay.
Cartoon Network. Because let's be real, Adult Swim by itself has some extremely weird shit
Pickle
just
Rick!
on the surface. And something I really found out researching this, and this is a very positive thing in a way, is boy, Cartoon Network has very little controversy, or at least from what I've seen. So a lot of this is just more going to be interesting facts. I mean, sure, there's going to be some creepy stuff near the end, but it's a lot of interesting stuff. So
Creepy
for those who
stuff.
are new to Iceberg videos, basically the concept of my Iceberg videos is there's
Okay.
5 different tiers. The
5
more
tiers.
you go down, the more disturbing, obscure, and dark it gets. In the last
He did not say yo mama at the bottom of that. Oh hell no. This white boy did not say yo mama at the end of that. Excuse you, bitch. We gonna have beef, bitch. I. But also, I really appreciate that he explained the iceberg format to me because I am new to these kinds of videos. Which, man, I don't watch a lot of shit, man. Okay, the YouTube rabbit hole I'm in on my personal time is I watch Valorant like gamers, people who like play Valorant, and I watch Valorant tournaments. Okay, and then I watch true crime. I am so out of the loop for everything, which makes for great content though. I have like unlimited YouTube content because of how out of the loop I always am. So we can't be mad at me because it just means more content.
tier is the thing I save for the more, you know, really triggering stuff. Which for Cartoon Network, not as bad as Nick or Disney, but very weird stuff.
Oh,
So
now I'm
fair
curious about
warning
those.
before we move on.
Are you guys tired of your lives being stricken with the dark, depressing fact that you yourselves do not own a pair of Raycon earbuds? Well, let's change that. Raycon is a company that I am no stranger to, and you're probably no stranger to
You know what,
either
man?
if you've been a subscriber of mine for a while. I've been with them for the better part of a year, potentially even 2 years, and these bad boys have
all
been
I can
sticking
think about
with me
during
the
this
whole
entire
time,
ad
have
read
had zero issues with them whatsoever. Still
is
the
like-
exact same quality
We
I
just had a
since I got
conversation
them.
about
And these
Raycon
ones are
earlier
the
this
everyday
stream.
earbuds that look, feel, and sound better than ever. And one of my favorite things about Raycon earbuds is the fact that they do not come out. They have optimized gel tips for the
I'm gonna be real with y'all though. If I ever get a Raycon sponsorship, I'm fucking taking it. Thank you. Listen, they are overly bass boosted and not equalized whatsoever. But I'll take it. Listen, they might have a little bit of muffled ass sound, but they're cheap. They're cheap. All right, you get what you pay for. That's what it is. You get what you pay for. That's good enough. So it's not really a bum ass product. It's just not going to be high end. That's all.
perfect in-ear fit.
Audio profiles don't matter if you have so what happens is when you create an audio device is that you have a thing called like lows, low mids, high mids, highs, right? And the device itself will have a natural flow of what it's supposed to create. And then if you change the profiles, regardless of that, it only will try to pull away those frequencies. So for example, if you do a mix that you pull out the low end frequencies and you want it to sound more tinny, you'll still get more of a flatter sound because of that, because it's already naturally creating like that bump in the low end. So yeah, that's the reason why like studio headphones, usually referred to as cans, if you ever hear it like in the industry, you usually would go with something like, I mean, you can go with Rode if you wanted to. You can go with Sennheisers. Those are really expensive though, so I don't really recommend going Sennheiser if you're gonna buy it for yourself. You can go Audio Technicas. I feel like Audio Technicas, like you go like the generic MX50s or something. You're like, it's fine. Even the MX20s, right? They have a bit more of a flatline sound. So yeah, like if you're talking about audio quality. But at the same time, those are like literally quadruple the price of Raycons. So like as I'm saying, you're just paying for what you want, right? Is like if you want to pay 4 times the amount, then you go to those. But if you don't want to pay 4 times the amount, then Raycons are totally fine. Like, you know, and also some people like the naturally more bass boosted kind of like sound. It's just more pleasing to their ear, which is fine.
They stay in there, baby. I feel like that's one of my biggest issues with earbuds is when they don't stay
I
in.
went on
but
a
these
tangent
bad
about an ad
boys,
read.
Oh, they stay in. It has an 8-hour playtime and
They
a
ain't paying you
32-hour
yet. God
battery
damn
life.
it.
You're going to be getting the quality of the top premium audio brands for half the price. And if you don't trust me, you could definitely trust a 49,000 5-star reviews. And also a cool extra feature they have now is Siri and Alexa compatible. And on top
I got
of
pairs
that,
of
they
sunglasses
have 3
next to all
different
these.
sound profiles for your preference. Ear sound for the most refined
Nah, we're not skipping their
sound,
ad. We're letting the ad
balanced
play.
sound for the most universal and leveled sounds, and of course, bass sound for them bumps. So do yourself a favor. Get Raycon earbuds today.
For
Click
me,
that link in
especially
the
when I watch a new content creator that I don't know about, I like to see how they do ad reads. It's just fun. Sometimes it's also like a learning experience for me too, you know, to see how other people do ad reads. I don't know. I think it's kind of a nice thing to do.
description, or you can go to buyraycon.com/bionicpig to get 15% off your purchase. Do it today.
So the tip of the iceberg, things that a lot of people know, but some people don't, or maybe some people it's like dormant in their memory and I'm about to pop it in your face. Cartoon Network City. Now this is something I remember, and I'm sure a lot of you probably remember as well. This was the 4th era of the Cartoon Network that lasted only a couple years, where there were bumpers between episodes that displayed all of our favorite cartoon characters in a city kind of interacting with each other. And I just wanted to add this one because
That's
for
cool
me
as shit.
this was just like the coolest thing back
Yeah,
then.
that is
You
cool.
know, seeing all your favorite characters interact with each other. And not only that, but this is just a very creative and well thought out bumper. Like, bumpers are just like in between episodes, little tidbits, but this is very well put together. And it shows Cartoon Network's creativity. You could actually get a full printout of Cartoon Network City, like a full map of the Cartoon Network City. Every area had a purpose and they always stayed where it was. Nothing really was contradictory or anything. Top tier memory for me. Love this stuff. The next one's a bit more obscure, kind of cool. Powerpuff Girls Z. Now this one just came as a big surprise to me. Apparently they made a Powerpuff Girls anime in Japan. The anime was co-produced by
And I haven't seen this? And you guys didn't tell me about this? I have never been more offended by my community in my fucking life.
Cartoon
How
Network
could you
Japan
not show
and
me this?
Aniplex and Toei Animation, which I don't know if you guys know this, but those are 2 enormous
bad?
anime companies. Like
No!
Aniplex is responsible for Full Metal Alchemist, Kill la Kill, Gurren Lagann, Gintama, and even Bleach. And obviously not even to
Is
mention
Gintama
Toei
good?
Animation, we all know that's just all Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, etc. So it's a very big surprise that this show was made and not many people were really aware of it. Me personally, I'm kind of curious how it was. Like, was it good? And the anime's English language adaptation was actually produced in association with Ocean Productions, which was also with Dragon Ball Z, and it was aired on Cartoon Network in the Philippines and Boomerang in Australia and New Zealand in 2008. So it never really got much airtime at all in America. So that's why we've never heard of it. I mean, me personally, I feel like it would have been a really cool and perfect fit for Toonami, but whatever. Maybe they'll bring it back. Moving on to Cartoon Network Reel. This is kind of what I guess destroyed Cartoon Network for a while. This was a block on the channel that it did not last long at all, for it was live action shows, and a studio called Cartoon Network, live action just instantly is not going to do good. And this mostly consisted of game shows, the big game show trend that was going on with Nick, and they kind of tried to
I know this one.
recreate it, I guess. They had
Is it
shows
called
like
Punch-Out,
Dude,
right?
What Would Happen, Destroy, Rebuild, Destroy, and Brain Rush. And don't get me wrong, they
Never
weren't
mind.
terrible. Like, I watched a couple of them and they're all right. It's just like no one wanted it. No one really cared for it. You know what I mean? And it did so bad, it only lasted a year, or I guess close to a year. It didn't even last a full year. So this next one, I'm pretty certain is just like known by a lot of people. But me personally,
what is it?
I didn't know. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. Apparently, Ace became the basis of Gorilla. Now, the reason this is very interesting is if you don't know who Ace is, he's actually a character off of Powerpuff Girls. On Powerpuff Girls, he was a leader of the Gangrene Gang, and he became a temporary basis for the Gorillaz' 6th studio album, the Now, while Murdoch was in prison. All this is within their fictional band world. And then after Murdoch's release from prison, apparently he stated that Ace had gone back home and that he was taking time out to write his memoirs, which is just cool. Like, it's so cool seeing a character from Powerpuff Girls come on to the Gorillaz. And you could actually see Ace in the music video for the song Humility, you know, that one with Jack Black in it, which I don't know, maybe
so
everyone knows this and I'm just stupid, but this was cool to me.
I didn't
Next,
know.
we
I didn't know
have
either.
The Annoying Orange Show. Yay. And this one isn't really unknown. It's just the fact that it ever even existed or even the possibility.
I've actually never seen The Annoying Orange except for in GIFs and slight, like, you know when YouTubers edit videos and they intercut? Don't say the first VTuber. Shut the fuck up, chat. You know when people, like, edit YouTube videos and they, like, splice things from other shows as, like, a funny bit? That's, like, the most I've ever seen of Annoying Orange, besides that and GIFs.
That was even thought of in the first place. Its mere existence strikes fear into the hearts of millions. Now, for those who are unaware, there was a YouTube channel known as The Annoying Orange, and it blew the frick up back then. It just depicted an orange, and then they cropped their lips and eyeballs onto an orange, and all the orange did was just what the title says, be annoying. You know, it was the era of YouTube where pitching up your voice slightly was literally just peak comedy. And for some strange reason, Cartoon Network's
it's like Fred era.
Yeah, we should make an entire show based around it. Take Annoying Orange YouTube channel, make it into a full-fledged show. That makes sense.
That's exactly what they did with Fred. You guys remember Fred? Like the one who talked really high-pitched and shit back in the day?
And it lasted 60 episodes. That's 2 seasons. That's longer
60
than Chowder
episodes?
lasted. How? Sunday Pants. Now, this one's an interesting show that I never knew existed. This show only lasted a month in 2005. Apparently, it was supposed to be...
How are these not further down the iceberg? How is this tier 1? What the fuck is this? How does everyone know about this?
next to What a Cartoon.
I guess it's not really
You remember
disturbing,
that
right?
show where it showed like little animated shorts. Well, this show displayed overseas shorts, pilots, college shorts, or even shorts created for the show itself. And the anthology varies on different types of animation, from traditional hand-drawn animation to Flash or even CGI. So it was kind of like a smorgasbord of creative ideas. Kind of like What a Cartoon was. But the main reason this show did not last long is the fact that it was PG and had a lot of adult themes and adult jokes throughout the show that just kids didn't get. It was actually complained that the show should have just aired on Adult Swim because it just fit better there. And apparently that's why it just failed so miserably right off the bat. I personally watched a little bit of it because there's actually 5 episodes full on YouTube you could go watch yourself. And, you know, it's not bad, but I can completely see why it would not have done well for younger audiences. But it's a very interesting watch indeed. I would highly recommend it. I mean, it only lasted a month on Cartoon Network, so it's just interesting to see. All right, that clears up the tip. Let's go down a little bit deeper to tier 2. Ed without his hat. Now, a popular thing with the lore of Ed, Edd and Eddy, which me personally, I was into this concept as well, is what the hell is Double D hiding? What's underneath that hat? What do you got under there, Ed? Well, apparently there was a reveal, but it kind of wasn't canon. There was a game that was released called Lunchroom Rumble based on the Ed, Edd and Eddy
Wait,
show.
so we got to see what's on.
There is a screen that congratulates you, and this screen actually has Double D throwing his hat in the air, and you see that he kind of has like a cornrow type haircut. And sure, it's a very low quality image of his head, but you know, it's definitely interesting. And this is the only semi-legit, semi-canon picture of Double D without his hat. We finally did it, guys. We finally solved the mystery. Next, we have the Moxie Show, considered to be the first original
What the fuck is this?
animated show. The
Dude, okay, you know what? I literally said at the beginning of this video, I was like, listen, I'm not going to know a lot of this stuff because I didn't really watch shows as a kid because I wasn't allowed to. And now I keep going, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm surprised. Obviously, I haven't seen it. Like, why am I acting shocked that I don't know what it is? Obviously, I don't know what it is.
Part of this one is it's starring Bobcat Goldthwait, Chris Rock, and Penn Jillette. Yeah. What? This is one of the weirdest combination of actors I've ever seen in my life. And the show itself was kind of strange, and it also doubled as kind of like a Cartoon Network bumper as well. And I mean, it did pretty well. You know, it lasted a long time, and you know, it got Cartoon Network started on other shows
Scooby-Doo, what
as
did
well,
they do to
because
you?
that was its first original show. Did well enough where they could move on and do more. So it's a good thing. It's cool to see what the first show was. And you could actually see a lot of this stuff on YouTube. You could find a lot of this on YouTube, which I would highly recommend you do because a lot of it's interesting. Talking about interesting, the Johnny Bravo talk show called JBVO. Now, this show was just...
Okay, I know Johnny Bravo. I didn't know it had a talk show. Okay. Hey, little mama. And, like, he loved his mom, and he loved his hair, and he wore his blue jeans. And all the ladies loved him.
Such a cool idea, but I completely get why it didn't last. It was kind of just doomed to fail from the start. But basically, this show was a request show where Johnny was the host, and viewers of Cartoon Network would request by mail-in, or they'd go to the website and they request episodes. You know, episodes of any show that they wanted to watch. And then Johnny Bravo would do his type thing, do his little attitude and stuff like that, and do a little commentary, and then play the episode. Which, as a kid, you know, this would be pretty cool to see. You know, your favorite Johnny Bravo character addressing you directly and playing your favorite episodes. But the reason I brought this up not only is
Chad keeps going, oh, this was the first VTuber. Oh, this was the first VTuber. God damn it, guys.
because the show is cool, but also the fact that there's one interesting episode that has kind of became a big lost media find. So one time a viewer requested an episode of Dragon Ball Z, and the rules of the show is you can't play any episodes that are 30 minutes or longer. So what happened, since the episode was 30 minutes, Johnny Bravo actually double timed the episode and then commentated over the entire episode and gave a play-by-play as to what was happening when. And this was such a sought-after episode.
Oh no, he does what I do. He's taking my job. He's taking my job. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh my god. What the fuck? That's literally what I do on my Aliciaxlife channel. Because, like, Aliciaxdeath, I do variety content, which you're currently watching right now. On Aliciaxlife, that's what I do. I react to animes and cartoons and shit. That's all I do.
For so long, and it has been lost media for a very long time until recently. Now the whole episode
He's not taking my job. I'm taking his job. W. That's right, baby. That's right, baby.
not found, unfortunately, because god damn it, I want to see this. But someone uploaded like a 5-second clip of Johnny Bravo mentioning the Namekians and talking about the Namekian guru and stuff like that. Apparently, it was on someone's old VHS tape. It was recorded over something. So there was only 5 seconds of it recorded. But watching those 5 seconds, it's so surreal, but at the same time, it's so freaking cool. And personally, I want to find this full episode. If anyone has any information, maybe I just missed something. Maybe I didn't research
found the full episode a month ago.
I want to find this full episode. I want to watch this. It's so cool. Okay, next. Everyone's gonna love this one. Wonder Woman facial. Now, again,
do I have to skip this part? Do I have to skip this part? Do I have to watch this on my own time? Without y'all? You feel me?
this might not be super unknown or obscure, but it's just one of those things as to why. Why did they do it? So there's an episode on Teen Titans Go, which you know everybody loves Teen Titans Go, right? Yeah, it's some of your favorite stuff. I mean, sure, it took a fat dump on the original Teen Titans, which actually was a good show, and then belittled the original show and made it look like shit. But anyway, there's a scene on Teen Titans Go that just is problematic. So basically, I guess they're doing a talent show. I don't really care to watch the episode for context personally because, you know, context doesn't necessarily make it any better. But Beast Boy, for a talent show, turns into a cow and then just blows his load all over.
Do you know how many 13-year-old boys jerked off to this episode? Do you know how many? They caused a problem in the nation. Holy shit.
For Wonder Woman and the entire judge room.
Whoever wrote that is horny as fuck, dude.
Into the mouth of Batman. Like literally all of them.
Oh, cringe. Batman doesn't swallow. Did you see that? Cringe, Batman. Come on, be classy. Swallow. Come on.
A fat bukkake in the face. Like, you know that the animators were completely aware of what they were doing. And from some of the stuff we're gonna hear later on, you know those animators are freaks, man. You know they did this on purpose. You know. But just the fact that it was on Teen Titans Go.
I don't like that multiple people go spitters or quitters. I don't like how a lot of you have the phrase ready. Why? Why do you have a phrase ready for that? You fucking weirdos. You guys are like, what else? What other weird sayings do you have? Hold on. Am I gonna get bamboozled for a second time? Only thing Batman swallows is justice.
Like, the baby version of Teen Titans is just damn. Next, we have rude removal. Now, this one's pretty interesting. Just
Dexter's
another
Lab.
case of them trying to sneak adult stuff into kids' cartoons. And something interesting about this is, I remember this episode. I don't know if this is some weird memory, a jumbo wumbo, but for some reason, I remember this.
Is that a
And
rat?
this never aired. This was never aired on Cartoon Network. Apparently, it was never aired on Cartoon Network. I don't know. Maybe someone had like the uncut DVD or something like that. But in this episode, Dexter invents a rude removal machine that does, you know, what the name says. It removes the rudeness out of you. And then both Dee Dee and Dexter get in the machine, and they both split into a good version of themselves and a rude version of themselves. In the beginning of this episode, the title screen depicts Dee Dee flipping the bird and Dexter mooning the camera. And similar to that,
You can't do that. You can't do that in the thumbnail. I'm gonna start flipping y'all off. That's gonna be my new thing. Listen, I got the finger tracking for it, baby. If I wanted to, I could. Remember that.
SpongeBob episode where they used, you know, dolphin noises to filter out the words, they did that. But in this one, it's way
Okay,
more...
chat saying do it. Okay, listen. Okay, I can't do it to you guys because I already call you sick fucks. Okay, I don't. You guys' degrading kink is getting too far. Relax. How many gifted subs to get flipped off? You see my point? It's weird. You guys turned into a degrading kink thing. Do it, pussy, no balls. I have no balls. I got eyeballs, bitch.
more aggressive, and they actually used the real
Jesus.
censor sound. Like, instead of them doing it unknowingly, they're aggressively just cussing at Dexter's mom and stuff. It's honestly hilarious.
Hey, where's the f***ing candy? Hey, watch where you're throwing that!
And you can actually find
yo!
the entire episode on YouTube, and
Because
the episode is, again, hilarious. And not only that, but someone did sentence mixing, which if you guys don't know what sentence mixing is, basically it's when you take words that the characters say, jumble them up to sound like other words. They did that, and they made a very convincing recreation of the episode where they're actually cussing. Not gonna lie, it's pretty good.
Hey, where's the fucking candy?
All right. Time for tier 3, going a bit deeper.
All right, tier 3.
Let's start with something that everyone loves. Cartoon movies. I know what you watch. I know the stuff you're into. You're weird.
Hey,
It's not healthy. The topless...
why he call us out like that? Why do you call us out like that? What? I like my cartoon boobies. I like them. Anime teats are how I feel alive.
Heather scene in
Total Drama Island.
Now, Total Drama Island is not, afraid of their controversies. They've had a few, but this one was just interesting because it has a topless, uncensored scene, which, as for a channel whose target audience is children, not okay. So this one's a bit up for debate whether or not it's real or if it's fake. There is a scene on Total Drama Island, and this is the real scene. This is actual scene in the show where Heather's top gets ripped off by a branch, and then she stands up, shows her titties, but they're blurred out. They're like pixelated out, which I just want to mention, already weird. Like, these characters are supposed to be 16 years old, or at least Heather is from what I've seen. So it's just the fact of them adding a topless scene at all is just weird. But there's actually a version that was put on YouTube that shows it without the pixelation, and oh my god, it's so convincing and it's so hard to believe.
All right, which degenerates are opening a second tab to look it up? Be honest, YouTube commenters. If you're in the comments right now, if you're opening a second tab to look, I need to know what you're doing. I need to know. Is this you? Someone goes already did.
That it's faked. And I just want to mention, it's not confirmed if it's fake. Actually, the majority of people believe
She's 16, Alicia. She's also a cartoon. She's a cartoon you watched when you were probably 14. All right? If you get curious and look it up, I don't think anyone's going to be mad at you. That is probably your childhood crush, even though she was kind of a bitch. So, like, yeah. I don't think it's that deep. I listen, a lot of you guys watch hentai. A lot of those girls in hentai are not that old. Be real with yourself, all right? She was a hot bitch, says someone in chat. I've seen people get canceled for less. Oh my god. Gwen, yeah, Gwen was definitely my childhood crush for sure. Yep. It's okay. Also, it's like people who look up Shigo porn. 100%. What, you never looked up Shigo Rule 34? Like, be real, from Kim Possible. Come on. She literally, like, pins down KP and, like, gets close to her face and shit and, like, grabs her. Like, what? She was in her 20s? Oh. I was like 13 getting off to Shigo. Wild. Yeah, I was really into Shigo as a kid. You are Ricci. And my other crush as a kid. From when I was like a really little kid, I think it would have been like around 10 or 9. I had a crush on Lee Shoran from Cardcaptor Sakura. That would have been one of my first like cartoon anime crushes. And then it would have went Starfire. And then it would have went because Starfire kissed Robin to learn the language, and I was like, oh, kissies. And then I fell in love with her. I was a baby. And then it probably would have been Gwen from Total Drama Island, because goth babes. I think that's like most of my childhood crush ones. And then just Shigo. I think Shigo was just the main one. I don't really have many crushes on like. Oh, I had a crush on Inuyasha. No, I originally started having a crush on Inuyasha, and then as I got older, I had a crush on Shishomaru. I was like, the moment I hit 15 and I was watching Inuyasha, I was like, Shishomaru is daddy. This is what I require. Yes. It started off me being like, Inuyasha is so funny and he's so anky and I like him and he's fiery. There's Shishomaru and I'm like, yes. I don't know. I don't think there was like any other ones for me, to be honest. I'm trying to think of any other ones, but is this okay? This might be a weird one to say, so I kind of hesitated for a second, but fuck it, we're already this deep. Do you guys know in Powerpuff Girls, there's like, you know how like the doctor is like, there's like this thick ass woman you don't see her face, and she like comes by and she has a sexy voice. I don't know the name, but I'm gonna go with whatever chat's saying because I'm not sure. So sure, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, whatever that was. I was into mommies. Okay, I was into mommies. Yeah. We all crushed on her. Okay. Oh, it's the mayor. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Believe it's real. So that begs the question, did the animators actually animate real cartoon boobies and then pixelate it? I mean, why would this scene ever be shown in the first place? It doesn't make sense. And there's even more rumors that that uncensored boobie scene was actually aired in Canada, but I mean, you know, that one's a little bit far-fetched. But the only reason I believe that
I'm Canadian. I watched Total Drama Island, but I didn't watch every episode. I cannot confirm or deny. I apologize. I couldn't text my sister because my sister did watch the whole thing as it aired, and we do live in Canada. She would probably remember.
the actual, you know, boobies out version that is on YouTube, you can go watch it. Obviously, I'm not going to show it. The reason I believe it's real is the fact that they pixelated it. They gave like a classic censor pixelation of her boobies.
Man, you
instead
could
of
have saw
doing
tits
what
and you
most
missed
cartoon
it.
channels do and just like would cover it with another, like maybe a tree branch. I feel like that shows that they definitely did animate the actual boobies, which is just weird. Next, we have an alternative Adventure Time Enchiridion.
Okay, that looks like he's gonna shove a baguette in Jake's coochie. Can you not? Can you not? What the fuck is this thumbnail? Do you see this shit? What is this?
Title screen. Now this one short and sweet. On the episode titled The Enchiridion, the title card was originally supposed to be very graphic, showing Finn basically gutting Jake and ripping out his organs on the title screen, which is pretty graphic. I mean, I can show it on my video, right? Like,
Why would they
don't
do
think
that?
YouTube's gonna take it down or
Why
you know,
would they do that?
flag me for this, right? But I can see why they opted to get a more censored version of this for kids, because it's honestly quite brutal. I'm not gonna lie. Next, we have the Clarence American Psycho reference, which this one is honestly kind of just hilarious. American Psycho as a whole is just a memeable movie. There are many things in American Psycho
It
that
is
are
a
just
memeable movie.
ridiculous. But there's a scene in the show, Clarence, that depicts a recreation of the introduction of the main character in American Psycho. This one is just interesting as it's such a weird thing for a kid's show to do a nod to American Psycho of all things. Anti-racist PSA. Now this one I feel like a lot of people probably have seen, and you know, it was trending on Twitter a little while. The Cartoon Network released an anti-racism PSA depicting two kids, one white, one black, talking about getting married when they're older, and then one says they can't get married because the other one's black and one's white. And then they send a Steven Universe character down.
Do you know what's kind of woke about that, though? Is that they're both two sweet boys. So racism was the issue? And, like, not that no one was homophobic about it? That's kind of lit. I mean, 50-50 pieces of shit. I mean, that's cool. At least they're half not totally garbage.
And says, don't be racist. And this, for some
I'm sorry, it's a PSA where they just come down and go, don't be racist. That's it. Fucking bars. Just bars. I got you with the PSA, homies. I got you. Hold up. This is my don't be racist PSA. You ready? You ready? Cured. Hey, toots. Do you like pussy? Do you like caca? Maybe you enjoy both. Nice. The color doesn't matter. The quality does. Don't suck stank dick. Make sure they wash first. The color don't matter. The quality do. Enjoy. That's my PSA. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, awoke queen, you're welcome. No, caca, it's an emote. It's cock with an A. Caca is an emote. Ugh. New to Twitch, I see. It's fine.
reason, made everyone's minds explode. Like, people lost their freaking marbles about this. I've never seen so many people freak out over someone saying, don't be racist. But the huge debate was like whether or not children should be introduced to racism or shown what racism is.
Yes, they should be. Oh my God. Did you know when I was a child, I was like in grade 2, and they were doing Twin Day, where you're supposed to dress at the same clothing or same type of style of clothing as your friends. So, but you can also do triplets. So 2 of my best friends, right? They both were like, oh, we can dress as like twins. I was like, oh, can I join in? And they go, no, you can't. Your skin's too dirty to match us. So I went home and scrubbed my skin until it was red because I wanted to match the other girls. Please introduce racism to the children because they do it anyways. They need to understand it's not okay. Like, holy shit. Imagine. Later on, they were still racist, though, so that didn't change. But they were very racist early on, and it never got corrected. Anyways, one of them turned out big time racist. Yep. Which was very interesting. Very interesting. So definitely could have used a PSA for these kids to like let them know that's not acceptable behavior. But mind you, one of the girls, her parents were really racist though. Like her parents were fucked. Right? So it kind of just depends. Your skin's dirty. I mean, I was the only person of color. There's me and there's actually one other guy. So, yeah. It was weird. It was a weird time.
And how you shouldn't be racist, etc. Which, my personal opinion, it's literally a video of someone saying don't be racist. If kids see a video that says don't be racist, I don't understand how it's bad. But personally, I think the reason people were upset is the kids were gay. But I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, we're just gonna. I just wanted to mention it. We're gonna move on. And I just want to.
Also, if anyone has issues with people being portrayed as gay, like as a young kids, do you have the same issue as, oh, the video's unsynced, got you. Do you have the same issue with straight people being portrayed at a young age? That's my only question. Because that's what it should be, right? It's like if you're gonna be offended about relationships showing up early, then why do we care about which gender it is? Why do we care? Like, just care about the fact they're showing relationships at a young age. You don't want them to date or have sex early on. If that's your issue. If your issue is showing, like, homosexual relationships, what are you fighting for? Like, what's the pillar you're fighting for here? The cartoons will turn my kids gay. What? What? No, sucking dick will turn your kids gay. Or not turn them. They already are gay if they're sucking dick. But you get what I mean? Like, it's weird. Like, why is that the issue? That's so bizarre. Man, but for myself, right, was that I thought I was gay like a lot of my life. I mean, technically, I guess being pansexual means I am. But I had a crush on a girl my entire childhood, right? And I didn't like guys until I got into like late high school, early university. And then I was like, I'll try penis, I guess. And I was like, oh, I enjoy this. And then I ended up going for both, right? I don't think it fucking matters. I just, like, right? It just doesn't matter. As long as, like, the kids are happy, as long as people are happy, who really gives a shit? And as long as they ain't fucking you. If you got a real problem with the LGBTQ, then, like, just don't fuck them. Right? It's that easy. You just don't have to have sex with them. Like, if they ain't fucking you, then you good. Like, that's it.
Etc. Which, my personal opinion, it's literally a video of someone saying don't be racist.
Both
if
is
kids
good.
see a video that says don't be racist, I don't understand how it's bad. But personally, I think the reason people were upset is the kids were gay. But I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. Okay, we're just gonna. I just wanted to mention it. We're gonna move on. And I just want to say, I said this in the beginning, and I think you're starting to realize, Cartoon Network does not have much controversy. I searched, man. I dug. They have nothing compared to Disney or Nickelodeon, which is a good thing. You know, I like Cartoon Network. But moving on, I feel like this is probably one of the biggest controversies they've had. The Moonanites bomb scare. On January 31st,
What?
2007,
What?
the city of Boston united to fend off a citywide terror threat. And this terror threat came in the form of Moonanites giving you the finger. Apparently, apparently someone mistook these Aqua Teen Hunger Force little things as bombs, which is both scary and kind of hilarious. But Turner Broadcasting, the parent company of Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, got in very big trouble over this ad campaign. It actually terrified many people in Boston. This actually pushed the president of Cartoon Network to literally step down because of this fiasco, and they ended up having to pay Boston $1 million settlement over an ad campaign, which I mean, you know, in hindsight, you know, putting
Okay, like four D batteries and then this illuminating in random areas across Boston. I don't know, man. Especially if you don't know the context of it. I don't know, man. I kind of see a little bit of a point. You know what? I don't fully blame them for thinking that's a scary thing. Right? I mean, a lot of boomers were scared, right? Especially like if you're just unaware of the situation and you see this random symbol showing up everywhere. Was it after that? Because if they're already on high alert for being scared about what happened in Boston, then that makes perfect sense. I just don't know what year this happened in.
fake bomb-looking things on an ad, maybe not the best idea. All right, we're moving down a bit on to tier 4.
Oh, snap.
Baby.
Second
This
last
one's
tier.
going to be full of theories of different shows. You may or may not have heard of these.
A game
but
theory.
A lot of them make sense, and a lot of them are very interesting. The post-depression theory
Before?
of
Oh, so
Scooby-Doo.
just
This one is very interesting and a well-accepted theory of why the world that mysterious gang living in is always broken down and kind of shitty. And also the theory of why everyone kind of wears a mask. So this theory states that the original Scooby-Doo cartoon took place during a period of economic depression, you know, making sense of why every place they visit ends up being run down and kind of crap.
Oh.
The economic depression was so terrible that it even affected famous people like celebrities, professors, and even athletes, you know, like some of the villains on the show. And because of these
Wow.
setbacks, many of these highly respected individuals
Is that Danny
devoted
DeVito?
themselves to a life of
Hey,
crime.
was that Danny DeVito? Guys? Guys? Huh?
Highly respected individuals devoted themselves to a life of crime, often disguising themselves as monsters to evade blame. This also explains why the teenage characters are never seen in school, because during this time, all schools are shut down. Additionally,
Oh.
since the gang is always in their van with no clear destination, it's kind of highly accepted that all of them are homeless because of the economic depression, which, you know,
Wow,
does
that
explain a
is
lot about the show and does
extremely
match up
sad.
pretty well, but it's just a theory. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going
A
to say
game
anything. Now for the
theory.
next theory. This one, I love this theory. I've heard this one before, and it explained a lot for me. The Ed, and Eddie purgatory theory. Now, this one I remember reading when I was younger, and it made so much sense.
Purgatory? Dude. This is horrifying.
Now, when you watch Ed, and Eddie, do you ever get this like weird vibe? Almost a sense of loneliness and separation and
I just thought it was like stoner humor. I didn't think it was. I don't know, man.
kind of the feeling of like a creepypasta where like something unknown is there and you don't know what it is. I remember there was a scene in the show where it just silently showed different shots of the cul-de-sac, and I was so unsettled and I couldn't understand why. Well, there's this theory out there that kind of explains it to an extent.
Okay.
You ever notice that there's never any adults, or at least, you know, never any adults to show their faces? According to this theory, the children of the cul-de-sac all hail from different areas, spanning from the early 1900s to the 2000s, and they're all living in purgatory. And this would explain why the year of the show is never really explained and kind of hard to pinpoint. But every single character can be traced back to a different era of life. You know, Rolf was in the 1900s, and apparently he died from his farm animals stampeding over him, and that's why his farm animals
Dude, this is way too dark, man.
were with him. Johnny
They went to school, though.
came from
Yeah.
1922 and died after a long fight of tuberculosis. Eddie was born in New York City during the Great Depression, didn't have a father, so he spent most of his time trying to con people in order to make money to survive.
Jesus
And
Christ.
apparently he was always with his brother, and that's why he looks up to his brother so much during the show. And then we have Ed and Sarah's father, who died in World War II, and as a result, their mother became very distant, which is why we always see Sarah as such a bossy, controlling attitude toward her brother, because she's kind of playing the role of a parent toward him. And apparently apparently they died in a freak car accident. There's actually like very detailed descriptions of every single character. And this last
Dude, the show just feels like trauma now. It was so funny. What happened?
one is just why? So Naz came from the 70s with hippie parents, which definitely makes sense. And she had a very flirtatious personality, and no joke, this is word for word what the theory says. A serial killer escaped from a local asylum, made his way into her house, and R-worded her and murdered her along with her entire family. Yeah, bit excessive, I would say. But I highly recommend going to read every single character's story because it's very interesting. And the reason I'm not reading every single character is because every single backstory.
Motherfuckers, maybe it could just be a cartoon. Anyone else? Anyone else think that maybe it can just be a cartoon? Maybe it doesn't have to be this. Anyone? Like, Jesus Christ.
Is very long. Like, there's literally paragraphs of each character. Next one, the disturbing pilot episode of The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy called Billy and Mandy in
Oh, I babysat a kid who used to watch the show.
Skull and You. Now, the reason this one's so creepy is it depicts a black and white Billy and Mandy. However, they look a bit different as Mandy has a gigantic smile plastered across her face. And then she drills a hole in Billy's head and then it just starts spurting out blood everywhere. Like, it literally looks like this is just a creepypasta. And this later turned out to be the beginning of what would be the final show of, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I guess this explains why Billy acts the way he does. That's the only thing I could think of. But very creepy. That's all I'll say. Tier 5.
That was real? Though? Is that... What the fuck, man? Dude, these people make cartoons and they slowly start to go crazy while making them. That just... Like, what... Give your animators a break. Give the people in the writing room, the storyboard artists, a break too. Clearly they need a break because they're all going fucking crazy. Like, this
5.
is...
So this one has everything that would be considered triggering or unsettling. So, fair warning before we get into
warning,
this.
warning,
Tier
warning,
5.
trigger warning.
So this one has everything that would be considered triggering or unsettling. So, fair warning before we get into this. So next we have Skylar Page controversy. This one is just kind of strange. On July 3rd, 2014, Skylar Page was fired from Cartoon Network after having a mental breakdown infrequently caused by bipolar. And the reason this doesn't make sense is bipolar does not cause sexual harassment, But then he was accused of sexually harassing someone named Emily Partridge, who's a writer from another show. Jeff Rowe said on his Tumblr page that Skylar is currently in the hospital seeking medical treatment for his bipolar disorder.
Oh my
Supposedly, he did stuff like putting cigarettes up his nose and running around shirtless, which I guess could be like a manic episode of a bipolar situation, but the sexual harassment, that you can't blame that on bipolar.
Well, having manic depressive episodes... having manic depressive episodes from bipolar, like, I can understand that. But fuck, man, I feel so bad for that girl.
And apparently the sexual harassment, which makes this even weirder, is Skylar Page just made an E.T. hand toward Emily Partridge's crotch. So basically he just poked her crotch. And I don't know if he's using the E.T.
He a pussy poker? He a weird bitch. He a pussy poker? What the fuck even... What the fuck? I'm sorry, I'm laughing out of, like, discomfort, and also the fact that I use the term pussy poker, because that's kind of funny as a word. But also, what?
As like an excuse or like a way to explain it away as a joke, but in what way
Poke pussy.
is that
I'll be right here. Like, oh shit.
normal or okay? But this one's just interesting, with this mental break and the bipolar disorder and then the ET crotch poke. And now we got another instance of animators being weird.
Oh,
now, this one
no.
I'll admit is more of just like funny.
Okay.
I guess, compared to anything else. So
Please.
Rebecca Sugar is the creator of Steven Universe. I don't
Hello.
know why it keeps being Steven Universe. And again, this one's just funny. She drew some nice Ed, Ed and Eddie porn. Like full on Ed, Ed and Eddie getting it on action, full. Apparently she drew this in her 20s. I just want to mention that.
Just so you guys know, though, that is like a common practice for like for like even especially manga artists. I mean, the creator of what was it? Which manga was it? The creator of it wasn't My Dress Up Darling. It was one. It was one of the female mangakas that made the Blue Protocol porn. Do you know which one it was? The one who made it for Blue Protocol? And Blue Protocol, they're all Bochi the Rock. Thank you, Bochi the Rock's mangaka, made literally porn of Blue Protocol. I mean, not Blue Protocol, Blue Archive. And Blue Archive, the entire cast is between the ages of 12 to 16. And she made it of 12-year-olds, too. So, like, it's like a very normal practice for animators to do that of like other shows and shit. I don't know. I don't know why, but it is. She also was selling it. She sold it recently at a one of the like at an event or something. And there was such a massive line for it, she had to go move her booth somewhere else. The Food Wars artist was a hentai artist too. Oh, cool. Yeah. It's like, yeah. So I mean, it's not like abnormal, especially for like people who are into anime stuff.
This, but personally, I just
That's why like I don't really judge people. Like as long as you don't look up real people who are underage, like I just don't give a shit. like personally, I like to see big milfs. So whatever I watch is usually super legal because I'm into milfs. To be open with you guys. So like I don't really gotta worry about that shit. Cause I like big ass titties, big ass mommy milkies. You feel me? But I don't know. I just don't really give a shit. If you guys watch like hentai of people who are younger, if you want, like whatever, I don't care. As long as you don't like sexualize actual people who are like young. That's all. That's my only opinion. I don't give a fuck. And sometimes I will feel uncomfortable, which I think is fair. Whatever your levels of comfort are your own levels of comfort. That's it. That's all there is to it. If you're uncomfortable doing something, don't do it. If other people want to do it, who cares? Like, it just doesn't matter. It's not you, right? It's like when I get uncomfortable when I watch certain anime and a kid is sexualized, I feel uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch that. It's not me judging you for you wanting to watch it. It's just that I don't feel comfortable. That's all. It ain't that deep. I ain't judging you. Just don't judge me.
Find this hilarious that she went on to create a very popular animated show for children while she also was, you know, drawing some Ed and Eddie porn beforehand. Okay, this last one, save for last, one of my favorite ones, the Skinwalker theory of courage. Now, this one has some real merit to it. You know, it's not
real
just a theory
merit
just to be a theory. It's actually real. What if I told you Courage the Cowardly Dog was based on a true story? The rundown old house you see in every single episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog, what if that was based on a true location? And this real location has a very interesting backstory.
Now, I do want to mention this theory did get a little bit popular, like in the realm of Reddit and maybe a little bit on TikTok.
Okay, I love the background of his room here. It's super cute, but I really want to get him a lint roller for his mic because I have the same microphone as him, and I have a lint roller just to like use for my microphone because it's like it just sucks in anything. If you have pets, all the fur will attract to the microphone. Just get a lint roller. It clears it completely off. Just a heads up.
You know, Twitter post here and there. And a lot of the facts of this are kind of all over the place, but I did my best to research as much as possible to kind of figure out what really is going on and what actually happened at this house. Now, a lot of people say it was an elderly couple and a dog, but actually it was an elderly couple and a cat, which, I mean, to be fair, the pet doesn't really matter regardless.
Okay.
It's just a pet. Their names were William and Margaret. William was apparently described as a not so nice person, whereas Margaret was described as a very nice person. They owned a business called Patterson Photo Supply. And the reason this is so talked about is the fact that they were actually known in the community and their disappearances are still not solved to this day. There's definitely a lot of mystery and theories that go behind this. I mean, this case, again, still hasn't been solved and still is open. Apparently, friends of the couple told police that they went on an extended vacation to Florida and had sent instructions to distribute their assets and property to their friends, family, and employees, which obviously is pretty suspicious. And also friends who have talked to him days before their disappearances heard nothing about them traveling or going on vacation or even seeing
Jesus
like anything
Christ.
was off at all. It just seemed like a normal day for them. And what makes things even weirder is some friends even mentioned that they actually made plans to hang out like a week in advance.
And then they're just
before they
gone?
disappeared. And the scene that was described at the house is as following. Margaret's fur coat and the couple's other expensive clothes were left at the cleaners. The house was in complete chaos with piles of dishes in the sink, and the house was described by police as being devoid of life. Go over the theories as to what happened, and I'll talk about what I personally think happened. Now, obviously, these theories include many different things going up to UFOs and even aliens. You guys know how it is. And the very popular accepted theory is the idea.
Sorry, I know I made a face at UFOs and aliens. I just want to clarify, if you believe in that shit, W. I mean, there's probably other life forms and entities out there. I don't know, man. I just don't rabbit hole enough on random stuff to, like, be invested. But it's like, there's probably other life forms out there. Like, yeah. I feel weird that, like, oh, did we really sight UFOs? You know, like, that's my question. I feel like every time there's, like, a UFO sighting, it's always fake as shit. Or it's, like, trying to distract us from something else going on. But I do believe that there are other life forms. I believe they'd be super naive to not believe that. I just don't really know how much I believe the sightings that people do. It feels like a lot of attention hogging.
Of skinwalker, which is what the theory is. You know, it's called the skinwalker theory, where a lot of people said that this couple saw many sightings of skinwalkers and reported them to police and stuff like that. But there's so many contradicting articles. Some people say that's not true. Some people say it's definitely true. You kind of just gotta, take it with a grain of salt. And apparently in 1984, the Pattersons' former caretaker confessed to seeing and cleaning up blood in the garage as part of a scalp on the Pattersons' boat. And he also claimed to have seen an associate of the Pattersons put a bloody sheet in the trunk of their car. And apparently the reason he never said anything about it is the fear of deportation, since he was technically undocumented. So let's talk about
that's brutal. So he actually was cleaning up the blood and shit, but he just can't even tell anybody and help them with the evidence because he didn't want to get deported. That fucking sucks.
I personally think happened. There's this man named David Ray Parker.
Listen, people have a lot of fear about getting deported, especially when you're a legal immigrant. People think because I'm an immigrant that I'm pro illegal immigration. I'm not. I'm pro people immigrating with a proper documentation and papers. Just a heads up. I know people get like weird about it, but yeah, like my family did immigrate, but legally. And I think it's really fucked up to an economy when you just jump on in, right? There's different versions of ways to get in. There's asylum. There's like a bunch of different things depending what your situation is. I'm not saying it's the easy route, but I'm pro-immigration. I'm not illegal immigration, which I feel like a lot of people think because I'm an immigrant that I'm being repetitive, but you get my point. It's just something I had to deal with a lot in my life, especially growing up, where people knew my family was immigrants, especially from different regions, right? So, especially since my dad selected my wife, selected his wife, and shit like that, and then people like just judge the shit out of my family because of that, and it's like cultural differences happen. Shut the fuck up, like whatever. My parents are still together, Jerry. Like, it's just weird.
Parker. And he has another nickname. He was called the Toy Box Killer. So Margaret and William Patterson and their pet lived in a town called Truth and Consequence. This man named David Ray Parker, or better known as Toy Box Killer, was living in a town called Elephant Boot or Butt, I don't know. But that was approximately 7 miles north of Truth and Consequence. And let's give you
actually a little bit of a funny story. I'll tell you guys really quick. My dad told me, this is a while back. My dad told me, he's like, yeah, I was like trying to select a wife, and I looked at like 30 different women, and I was like, ugh, I'm just not really into any of them. I saw your mom when I went to go buy a soda outside at like this little shop, and I thought she was super hot. And then when I went to go to her home and I met the family, I realized how nice she was, because she had no idea I was there to like select her. She was just like really sweet and really nice. And I'm like, W. So yeah. Which, you know what? Thank you, Dad, because that's how I turned out to be so hot, because you chose well. My mom is super pretty. So, yeah. They've been married for 35 years now. So it worked. Yep. Yep. Yeah, my dad was born in Ethiopia. My mom was born in South India. So when you hear my mom, she has this cute little accent. My dad doesn't really have an accent. My dad just sounds, I don't know, he sounds kind of formalish, I guess. He laughs like the Pillsbury Doughboy. I might bring him on sometime. But yeah, so my dad's like dark as hell. My mom is super light because she's a light-skinned South Indian. So she looks very pale. But yeah.
Guys, a little bit of an idea of what this man was known for. David Parker Ray was an
Okay, weirdo in chat. No. No. Weirdo in chat. No. I'm timing you out for a bit. Weird. Sit in timeout. Weird. Saying that, talking about how my mom is attractive and hot from my dad's perspective is one thing. I'm not here sexualizing my own mother. Fuck off. She is really pretty. And that's why I'm really hot, is what I said. Don't get it twisted, you fucking weirdo. Jesus.
an American kidnapper, torturer, and suspected serial killer. Though no bodies were found, Ray was accused by his accomplices of killing several women and was suspected by the police to have murdered as many as 60 plus women.
Did I just dissociate? What the fuck? How did we get there?
Idea of what this man was known for. David Parker Ray was an American kidnapper, torturer, and suspected serial killer. Though no bodies were found, Ray was accused by his accomplices of killing several women and was suspected by the police to have murdered as many as 60 plus women from Arizona. Apparently, Ray soundproofed a semi-trailer, which he called his toy box, and equipped it with items used for sexual torture. He would kidnap between 5 to 6 women a year, holding each of them captive for around 3 to 4 months. During this period, he would sexually abuse his victims, sometimes involving his dog.
What the fuck is that? When did this turn into a true crime video? When did this turn into a true crime video? This changed so much.
Dog or his wife, who participated willingly in her husband's crimes. And he would torture them with surgical instruments. Then Ray would drug them with barbiturates, which apparently is a drug that acts as a central nervous system depressant, in an attempt to erase their memories of what happened, and then he kind of just drops them on the side of the road. Ray was convinced of kidnapping and torture in 2001, for which he received a lengthy sentence. But unfortunately, he was never convicted of murder, and then he died of a heart attack about 1 year after his convictions in 2 cases. And if we want to get a little bit more detailed, because this does go into more detail.
There's not enough justice there. How dare he die to a heart attack? We deserve more justice than that.
Well, he apparently killed his victims using whips, chains, pulleys, straps, clamps, leg spreader bars, surgical blades, electric shock machines, and saws. Holy shit. And apparently there was a mirror mounted on the ceiling above the table to which he strapped his victims. How did this man not get charged with murder? But anyway, getting to my theory. This man killed 60 plus people, and he lived 7 miles from Truth and Consequence, and apparently he was known to go to different towns to kidnap people and to, you know, do whatever he did. And as it said in the police report, there has been 0 bodies found. He's been accused of 60 plus murders. However, 0 bodies found, and that couple are completely missing. And they were completely missing out of the blue, with no response from anyone, with no sign showing that they were going to leave. And apparently by this article, their friends received notes from them saying where they were going and what they were doing. So the possibility is there that David Ray Parker potentially kidnapped both of them and, you know, did whatever he did, and then left notes for their friends. Now, you gotta remember, this was in the 80s. You know, serial killers and murderers kind of could just do what they want and not get caught.
Well, yeah, they didn't have the level, they didn't have forensic evidence like we do today, right? Especially in the 80s, like, it was fucked. Which is why it's really cool, like, in modern day, that there's a lot of cold cases that get solved now because of forensic evidence coming into play. Like, being able to match it to other people is pretty cool, but...
of how it was, but how they kind of just disappeared out of the blue. Plus, this David Ray Parker guy, 7 miles down the road, convicted of kidnapping and killing 60 plus people, and none of those people have been found. It kind of starts connecting the dots, you know what I mean? And the house that everyone relates this to is none other than this house, which is actually located in Truth and Consequence.
Oh my god, that house looks really accurate.
In this house necessarily. Apparently, they live somewhere else. but this house is located in Truth and Consequence, which is the same town where this took place. So a lot of the dots are really starting to connect here. And if this was the main inspiration for Courage the Cowardly Dog, man, that makes the show 1,000 times more creepy. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, that's so cute. He was doing retakes to say the end of the video, but he didn't cut it out. I love that. That made me feel a little happier. The ending was really heavy, and then him doing that made me feel a little bit better. Oh, I needed that. That was such a heavy way to end the video. Thank you.
Dog theory, and that is the Cartoon Network Iceberg. Now, it's a good and technically a bad thing at the same time that I could not find much on Cartoon Network. Like, I dug for hours and hours on end trying to find as much as I could, as much dirt as possible on Cartoon Network. And I'll be honest, there's not much. Now, as I said before, this could be a good thing or this could be a bad thing. That could just mean the Cartoon Network is good at hiding things.
Christ.
Or that could just mean Cartoon
Dude, we started off with like, oh, look, there's a little cartoon city to this.
Network is actually surprisingly a good studio who doesn't do disgusting things like Nickelodeon or Disney. But I will admit, that is hard to believe. But a part of me wants to believe that Cartoon Network is actually this good and not as terrible as these other companies. But what do you guys think? Leave in the comments below. Do you think Cartoon Network has some stuff that I don't know about? If you want to tell me about something that I maybe have missed, please leave in the comments below. If you want to see a different type of Iceberg, please let me know.
For the person who's like, I can't believe he missed something, I will link the video if you want to go comment it on what you think he might have missed in the Iceberg. You know,
kind of iceberg you'd like me to cover next, because I do enjoy going down these rabbit holes with you guys.
Which, by the way, for those of you guys who are in the YouTube, who are watching on YouTube right now, I will be linking the original video in the description below too. So if you guys want to go there too, support the original video, that'd be super appreciated because we spent a long time going through this.
Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends about me, especially your mom.
Ah!
Like a normal.
No, not my mama. Why is everyone bringing my mama into this today? Man, that's crazy. Man. All right. Thanks for watching, YouTube. We'll catch you in the next one. Remember to check out the link in the description below for the original video, and also to subscribe to this channel while you're here too. Thanks for watching all the way through. I love and appreciate you guys. And for those of you guys over on Twitch, I'll send you a link too. Bye guys. Bye YouTube.